I am featured reader because there was an Earth Day about 4 or 5 months ago, and I said in a note to John that I have 1,000,000 Earth Day poems and I could use them as featured reader. And he said, no, never, 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 never. We don't want you a featured reader at all. But I persisted, and I have brought a few of my featured readers, and I'm going to start. Immediate lilies. My garden is such spontaneous, unpredictable, immediate pleasure. A tail wriggles, nay, dances, while a chameleon, its former owner, wonders if it should flee after I accidentally severed it in two. My garden is such spontaneous, unpredictable, immediate pleasure. A house key I had buried in the yard in case I locked myself out miraculously has sprouted a second key. Lucky I found it in time, or the whole yard would have sprouted keys like weeds everywhere, and I would be living in a house open to all. My house is such spontaneous, unpredictable, immediate pleasure. A leaf decayed to delicate lace has been pierced by a purling lily and is displayed like a grand gossamer gown, so immediate that lily. My garden is such spontaneous, unpredictable, immediate pleasure. Perfection's mistakes. I weeded in my garden today. 2 thistles and 3 wild poinsettias still were thriving when I finished. Not by oversight, they were always in my sight, but by design. I can create a garden of my choosing, but the final planner is that other fellow. This doesn't make my garden less than perfect. Unimaginable thought. It makes it all the more complete, much the way master rug weavers always include errors in their designs. Such a coy excuse to cover mistakes. Weavers use that ploy so they won't appear haughty, as if God could be jealous of such beauty and honor. The richness of the world's loom is ever so much beyond me that I am beholden to let as much of God's nature into my life as I can, even to the enriching perfection of weeds in my garden. Proving ourselves. How proud I am of the tall standing weeds in my yard. They've grown without my encouragement or attention. Self-sufficient, independent, they deserve my admiration and my protection. They are entitled to courtesy. Weeds and other pestered things need to prove themselves. How wise I am, how liberated I am, praise where it is due, that I could let these weeds grow when I know their luxurious leaves flaunt the stability of pleasure, of privilege. Weeds are the first threat to the order of things. How proud I am to be the defender of weeds. The most noble calling is to champion the downtrodden. Embroiled in the plot. Lover, I didn't plan it so. When I scattered your ashes in the garden, all the plots and paths were neat and trim. Today, the yard is a jungle. I've not abandoned it, purposefully neglected it, forgotten you. But now it's hard to tell which is grass or weeds. Shrubs and trees reach and climb and roll and tumble when I walk among them and you embroiled in the plot. Lover, cling to me. Wrap yourself around me, grasp and scratch me, lover, not in hostility, not in violence and desperation, but with as much passion now as in life. In a garden party of flowers confidentially close, a nose whispers secrets to my nose. Whoever plants thistles in this world doesn't know about roses. Give him some of your roses. An armful of joy, looking at the tall grasses blowing in the lot across the street. Like a lover, I go and cut a bouquet. The girl with the flaxen hair. A little girl with long flowing hair runs across a field of grass. The farther she runs, the greener her hair becomes. The closed gentian. Some of us wait so long to present our gifts. Who knows why we wait? Early on, some of us didn't realize we had gifts or were afraid to show them. There's the threat. We are much like the closed gentian, whose late-form flowers so often are covered in snow that it has adapted to survive without opening its blossoms. Gifts incipient, but never fully displayed. Oh, these treasures inside all of us, our hesitant, heartfelt gifts that so few people see, that not the world alone has stifled. Particulars. The prisoner, touching his forehead to his prayer rug, discovered the plan for his escape in its design. A cloud can lead me out of myself, my tight prison. I scrutinize the particular for access to the free. Everywhere the song. Trees use up so much energy just to hold their branches up. How long can you hold a pose with arms extended? Trees are silent. They wait for the wind to lift them, to support them, to take the weight off patient roots and trunks. But when this happens, such relief. Just listen to them sing. Possibly heaven. In a towering tree, you'd have to go about it very gently, not to tear or strip a single one. If you wanted to, and you could, count every leaf. There are fewer than you think. What looks like a super abundant canopy is such an artful arrangement, one or two leaves here and there, looking for all the world like a dense cluster on every stem. Careful of that bird's nest. You'd be amazed how neatly you could go up and down every branch, systematically counting. Watch out for that caterpillar. Keep your mind on your job. And all the while, you'd be in paradise, wouldn't you? Why are you complaining, birdie, that flying is an effort? Think of its poetic compensations. Look down on me, birdie, but not in disdain. Walking has its austere pleasures. A worm in the shape of a question mark. A bird readily responds. A worm poem trilogy. This is 3 parts. Part 1, Deus Ex Machina. Out of this wide universe, our great no-name God swooped out of the sky and delivered me, a lowly worm, from danger on the sidewalk to safety in the grass. Part 2, the worm's tale. He lifted me into the air. At first I was too terrified to know what was happening. Then I realized giant vermiculars were saving me. This all happened so fast. It was a horrifying trip, but he wasn't concerned about comforting me. He was interested only in saving me. Part 3, a worm's nightmare of flying. To stay on the sidewalk where I thought blind safety lay, I wriggled violently to escape the assumption meant to save me. We fight so often without knowing why, for one destiny, a death over possible salvation. Cost control. Dumping gravel across a driveway, the contractor created a sculpture worthy of a Zen master. His contract does not allow for cost overruns. He bills it as one load of 20 cubic yards. Poetry Digest. Probably I have dug up more nuggets about the secret life of rocks than any other lyricist. Probably I have minted more poems about imperiled pennies than any other poet. Probably I have emblazoned more radiometer poems than any other writer. Probably I have strung out more worm rhapsodies than any other romantic. Probably my thread count in lines is higher for making beds than composers of hieroglyphics. I may have composed more moon poems than any other philosopher, poet, lover, but the subject needs more light. Everyone is constantly being moved to erratic moments about the ever-evocative moon. But it isn't the quantity. The Book of Records has only one prize for that. Though I might take pride in my range, might these themes that seem totally unrelated, that what I am taking for grand diversity, the lost, the glittering, the hopeful, and the quiet, are part of one extended thought, are strands of one simple notion, all beads, one necklace, all threads, one design, one garment, one string for an instrument of a single song. Is that what I've done unbeknownst? It is all one, a theme I've written more poems about than any other poet, probably. And that's it. And I want to thank all of the people who are here. I never thought I'd be one of the last readers of the poets, but for about 20 years I've done this, and it's been pleasurable and exhilarating. Well, maybe I'll start to cry. I've had chapbooks and anthologies and workshops and all these readings, and it's just been marvelous, and we hate to see it go. Whoops.